Hi guys, today I want to speak about how alcohol affected my life while I was depersonalized and also when I was taking pills. I think this topic is very important because I know many of you, same as me before, are trying to deal with the depersonalization by taking excessive amount of alcohol and thinking that it really works and that it calms you down, but at the same time it's not the way you're gonna recover, and definitely you just making even more damage by doing that. So please listen to me, and I hope that you will try to stop taking alcohol and smoke as well, because it really affects your nervous system and it's not good for you. So my story is the following. So when my depersonalization became quite severe, I realized that I no longer can cope with that. And at that moment, I didn't take any medication. I remember that I developed extremely severe depression. So I didn't want to do anything. And each time I had to go somewhere outside or just make a tiny movement, I was very irritated because I was angry with all the situation that was happening to me, and I didn't want to do a single thing, and I was extremely upset with that because I did understand that it's not right, that it's not how it's supposed to be. And also it was huge desperation, because I didn't have any reason to believe that one day it will go away, and I didn't know how to stop it. So I felt like I'm completely out of this life, and I started to speak to people exactly like you, to find out how to come out of this. And I remember that one girl on the internet, she told me that, did you ever try to drink? And I said, no, I know. And she was, by the way, recovered. And I said, no, I'm very scared to drink in this condition. And she was like, no, just try. It's actually very relaxing. You will find like 1 or 2 glasses of wine will just make you feel so good. And I was extremely nervous to give it a go. But same time, I realized that each day is such a pain and I cannot go through this anymore. And I realized that I will probably try it. And once we had a dinner with my husband and I had a glass of wine, I was like making very tiny sips because I was extremely scared that I will become even more mad. I didn't become mad. In a few minutes, I felt huge relief. It was so good. I was so happy about that. And I realized that, okay, I'm not feeling the way I used to feel before DP, but at least I feel relaxed. I'm no longer that much anxious. I can laugh, I can crack jokes, I hold conversation. So it felt really good. And what happened next is that every day I was waiting for another bottle. And basically, in quite short period of time, I realized that I'm becoming an alcoholic. So I'm very addicted to alcohol. I was very addicted at that time because before DP, I was never really into alcohol. I was having it occasionally, like mostly everyone, but I never really was looking forward to drink. And this time, if my husband was coming back without a bottle of wine, I was very angry. And once I realized that, basically, I just opened the door when he's coming back from work, and I was like, did you bring it? And once he told me, like, you have to stop it. Look at yourself. What's going on with you? You just so addicted to it. It's not normal. The way it goes, it's going to destruct you completely. So you have to stop. And I made a huge fuss. That was a horrible evening when I was screaming and shouting, and I said, like, I want it now. And if you're not going to the shop and buy it now, then basically you're just like killing me with it. And because I was so hysterical and I was so furious, and that was very late at night, he came back from a business trip and he was extremely tired. So he told me, okay, fine, I'm really tired of that. And he gave me, because we had bottle of extremely expensive wine, which was a present from his boss. And basically no one obviously drank it, so it was just, we kept it somewhere. So he brought me this bottle and he said, like, have it. If you want it now, have it, and just leave me alone. So I had this bottle, and the next morning I've got a few messages from people who I would never ever text in my life, but I even didn't know that I did that. And that was the first sign of how alcohol affects my brain. So I've got a few messages, and one of these messages was by the guy who sent me the following text. I guess something is going wrong with your neurotransmitters in your brain. And that was a joke, but was very exact joke, very, very close to reality, because that's what was happening in my brain. I didn't remember a single thing, and my memory was getting worse and worse day by day since I've started to drink. I also need to let you know that after you have a few glasses of whatever it is, or pints, the next day you feel extremely horrible. You feel even more dissociated than usually. And it takes about like a few days to get back to where you've been before you drank. What I've noticed as well, that it was making me even more numb, again for quite a long period of time. I think alcohol actually brought me to the anhedonia, I don't know how to pronounce it properly in English, but you know the word. So that's the reason why I came to that point, and that's like, for me, that was the last point of depression. Also, I was sleeping non-stop after that. So it made my sleep even more prolonged, which I didn't want to, because it seemed like I'm not taking part in life at all. So I'm mostly just sleeping. Again, when I was drinking, that's very important. When I was drinking before I took medication, it didn't really affect my sleep. I was sleeping well. I didn't sleep for longer. I was sleeping well. But my depersonalization and my dissociation was becoming worse and worse and worse day by day. So each day after the alcohol intake, my symptoms were getting worse. So my disconnection with my reflection in the mirror was worse each day. The feeling of my body, all the sensations were getting worse. And by the end of the year, when I didn't take any medication and didn't see a psychiatrist, I stopped drinking, not because I was scared to become alcoholic, but just because I realized that it completely ruined my personality in general. And it affected my depersonalization in so many ways that when some of you saying that, I have this and this symptoms and I know that I have more than you, I realized that I'm getting deeper into this. So I hope it does make sense. So this alcohol intake was just basically making everything more and more complicated, more and more severe. And I just had to stop. When I was taking medication, I asked my doctor whether I can take alcohol. And he said, he didn't say you can't, whether basically you can't. But he said, I will never recommend it to you, because you will feel like shit, and like proper shit. And he said I wouldn't really even try. But I tried. And for a while it seemed okay. It seemed like it's not too bad. I didn't drink a lot, but like occasionally, because I didn't want to fall out of this social part of life. And we all need to do some stuff in order to stay in companies, friends, and some, attend some events, at least like a little bit of something. But this a little bit affected me again a lot, because first of all, I was getting drunk from a tiniest drop. So I had to drink like a little bit to become completely drunk. Another thing, I was living on autopilot. So basically, I had a situation when I became, I don't know what happened to me. So I just said to my husband, I'm extremely unhappy with him. And I left. And I was somewhere all day and I even don't know where I was. And I came back home without the bag. And in this bag, I had like two pairs of very expensive earrings and my cards and my phone, and my whole life was there. And the bag itself was quite expensive, so I've lost it. And I don't know where I've been all day. So that was my last moment when I realized like I have to stop to drink at all, because the way it affects me, it's just mad. And again, I have to say that before DP, I was absolutely fine. So again, as all people, I had hangovers, I had, there were times when I was drunk, there were times when I didn't drink that much. So I was normal like every other person, so it never affected me this way. It only started when I had my anxiety disorder, and later on depersonalization, and later on when I was on pills. So I stopped drinking completely. And same situation with the cigarettes. So if you remember this kind of feeling when you smoke on an empty stomach in the morning and you feel like you're a little bit like out of this world, like you're gonna just lose your consciousness. And I started to have these moments quite all the time when I was smoking. And with each cigarette, I was just losing, I was completely disorientated, so I remember I was smoking in the toilet because we have like a window there. And a few times I just couldn't come out of the toilet because something was happening to my brain. So each time I was smoking, I was disorientated, I was trying to come out and I couldn't. And after that, I remember I was also with my son and my husband was away. I was sitting on a sofa and it felt like I'm about to die in a second. Like my mind just like switching off. And because I'm a mom, so obviously I realized like I have to stop. I have to stop by all means. Because my son was scared. He said like, you have to stop smoking because I don't want to see you smoking. And another thing is because I just felt the way now it affects me. And then I was reading quite a lot about how it affects nervous system. And God, seriously, guys, I mean, like if you can add some extra bad things to your condition, that's exactly what you have to do, smoke and drink. And I know that many of you as well, well, not many of you, but I know a few people from Facebook who were fighting with me that smoking marijuana is extremely good for you. Up to you. I'm no longer going to deal with anyone about that. If you want to, go ahead. But for me, anything that really affects your mind is not a good thing at all. So yeah, I stopped doing all the, I've just gave up with all my bad habits. It wasn't easy. With alcohol, it was quite easy. With cigarettes, it wasn't easy at all. But one day I just said, that's it. And I probably was struggling for like 3 days. After that, it was fine. And today, if someone is smoking outside, I don't feel anything. I don't care. I feel fine. I obviously lost friends. Well, let's say friends. And not many of them. There are some people who said like, there is no point to have fun as long as I'm not drinking. And they obviously do not invite me anymore. I'm fine. I mean, like, if I know that the person wants to spend time with me just because it's fun to drink together, then I don't need those people in my life. So I had many changes after depersonalization, but I'm happy with the way I am now. I'm happy that my family is happy to have me the way I am now, that my child is happy. And that's just my big recommendation to you. Stop smoking, stop drinking. It's only good. Only for good, and definitely good for your depersonalization and your anxiety. And trust me, my recovery became much more rapid after I've stopped all these bad habits. Please, guys, subscribe and support me and comment below and share your stories. I'm replying to each of you, you know that, but only when I have my free time, so please respect my time as well. See you. Bye.